Good morning from Penobscot Bay and sailing vessel Silver Heels, My Roads 22. This is the start of another roughly week-long cruise in Maine. We're off to an unusual start. So today is Friday. I actually launched yesterday, and there were small craft warnings in effect at that point, and there was, white caps in the harbor, and it looked a little too blustery to really be enjoyable. So rather than going anywhere after I launched, I just anchored right in Rockland Harbor and spent a relaxing afternoon there. The weather was very pleasant aside from the wind. So now it is a little after 8 o'clock on Friday morning. Winds are out of the northeast as predicted. They are currently light to moderate. They are supposed to build some 10 to 15 with gusts to 20. Did I say northwest? And so we're gonna try to go kind of southwest. See how that works out. Down through Muscle Ridge Channel in the general direction of Tenants Harbor to start with anyway. We'll see how far we get. Despite the fact that by some counts this might be day 2, for purposes of YouTube video naming, we're going to call this day 1 because there's no video from yesterday. That's where we are. So we're headed out in a generally easterly direction, and we're going to take a turn around Owl's Head, and there's a picturesque lighthouse there and a little harbor, and we'll take some pictures, video. So talk to you later.
So that was an invigorating day of sailing. It's not all that satisfying. It was, well, the basic context was it was quite windy. You know, I hid yesterday in Rockland Harbor because it was too windy. The forecast today was to be less windy, and so I'm guessing it probably was. You know, yesterday would have been worse, but it was plenty windy for me. So hopefully we got some good video for you. Sorry I haven't talked to you since this morning, but it was way too windy to even try to talk outside, and things were too kind of hectic for me to be able to duck into the cabin long enough to, you know, do a yakking session. So the video will have to do. We can talk now. I think I only took one shot showing that I was sailing at that point in time with just the heavily reefed Maine, and that was pretty much, there's a lobster boat going by. It's not an airplane. And so I'll get waked in a little bit. But what was I? Today was an exercise in playing around with reefing, and I was heavily reefed all day. Sometimes just the Maine, sometimes a little bit of Maine and a little bit of jib. I didn't try just jib. Maybe I should have. I didn't want to spend the day healing. And there's the waking. We're having that now. So I was okay with not going real fast. If I could do 3 knots and stay close to level, I was fine with that because I knew I wasn't going to go all that far. And we did mostly manage to do that. So I'm pretty happy with that. And the weather was decent. It was very cloudy when I set sail this morning, and I was afraid that we wouldn't get you know, enough solar to recharge the battery, but we did easily. You know, it was basically fully recharged by like 1. So it was a bright sunshiny day, which I got a little color, as I usually do. So I can't think of anything else useful to say at this point. So we'll need to go to the chart. So again, Rockland Harbor is here, and the boat ramp and where we anchored last night is down in this corner, which gave us reasonable protections from northwest breezes. So we pulled up the anchor. Breezes were more west, the northwest, initially. So I didn't even start the engine because I knew I was just going to blow out of the harbor. I mean, the breezes were pretty mild at 8 in the morning, but still that was the direction. So we set sail. We were wing on wing for a while to get out here to Owl's Head, and we started our way around Owl's Head and found that we couldn't make this line down through Owl's Head Bay, because you know, I had planned this with for northwest winds, and that would be doable with northwest winds, but winds that were west or a little bit south of west, you know, I just couldn't do it. So I thought I'd change plans and sail over to Vinyl Haven or something. And I did that for a bit, and then the wind did shift, so from the northwest. So I came back, but doing that, I had to fight a pretty strong outgoing current and tack back and forth. And it took, I lost 2 hours altogether getting back to Owl's Head, which, you know, I don't think I filmed any of that. There was nothing to see. So we finally did get back and found that now we could keep this course down here. We did get a couple of shots of the lighthouse at Owl's Head, and the little harbor, and some houses, cottages along here. And anyway, down through Muscle, what's that called? Muscle Ridge Channel. Down along, there's a group of islands out here. We've been out here before. So, and the wind continued to blow. You know, sometimes it would get blocked, like when we came around this Ash Island here, pretty close, and we were blocked for a little bit. For the most part, though, it was ripping along, 10 to 15, I would say. I should pull out my anemometer more and measure things, but... And, you know, we found that we could keep things under control, and make progress, you know, 3 to 3.5 knots with things heavily reefed, and stayed pretty level. So I was happy with that, as I said. And we came down past Sprucehead Island and down to Whitehead, and we'll go to another chart. So here's Whitehead Island. Sprucehead was up here. There was another picturesque lighthouse there. And then we turned the corner. So we were closer to the wind. I was able to do this for a while, and then a 25 knot gust came and knocked me over. So I gave up on that and motored the rest of the way over here towards Tenants Harbor. Now, it used to be you could anchor in Tenants Harbor, and that was popular for people who wanted to visit shops and things in there. I believe I read in Active Captain that they don't allow overnight anchoring in there anymore, which it isn't a great harbor for that, because it's relatively small. There's a lot of other boats in there, and for a lot of it is pretty deep. So that's probably why they don't allow it anymore. But fortunately, there's this other cove, Long Cove, here close by, and it gives pretty good protection from north to northwest winds. The prediction for tonight is north, and we're up in here where it's shallow, and so no one else is. It says 4 feet there, but we're in deeper water than that. It was 13 feet when we anchored at about half tide, so there's probably 7 or 8 feet of water at low tide. We probably won't be awake at that moment. So that's where we are, near Tenants Harbor in Maine. This is not an island. This is part of the mainland. So we've never been this far in this direction before, and we may go even further west tomorrow. So I'm not gonna even attempt to get up on deck and film anything. It's way too windy. But so I have to be satisfied with the view from here, and it's pretty nice. Behind me, we're looking east, by the way. So behind me to the west, to the mainland, there's a few houses along the shore. But looking this way, you can see a bit of ocean out there, and a few islands that appear to be mostly uninhabited. I can see a dock to our left someplace, but it's a pretty pleasant view.